Good afternoon. As some of you may know, I'm Ruben Alvarez, and as the CEO of Latino Leaders Network, it is my pleasure to welcome you to today's luncheon. Thank you for joining us. A little over a year ago, I took on the additional role of CEO of this organization to assist and help advance our chairman, Mickey Ibarra's vision of creating a platform that can bring leaders together to help unite communities. For those of you unfamiliar with our organization, our mission is to honor and spotlight individuals who have demonstrated a strong record of impact and positive influence in our community, and to showcase their personal stories, their challenges, their achievements, and successes. While others may work to try and erase the important accomplishments of our leaders and heroes, we, on the other hand, work to ensure our stories are told because they are powerful and they serve to inspire us and the next generation of leaders. All of us in this room may not agree on every issue. However, we can and should take tremendous pride on the contributions of Latinos to the success and prosperity of our country. And the goal of Latino Leaders Network is to shine a light on these contributions. This year, we aim to grow our organization and add more programming and leadership development, and we humbly ask for your support. We recently launched a new membership program to provide individuals with an opportunity to engage more closely with our organization and support our mission. Everyone has a program, and on the back of your program, there's a QR code. We ask you to consider becoming a member and supporting our organization. Before I introduce our program host, I invite each of you to please join me in a moment of silence to honor the late Congressman Raul Grijalva, who passed away on March 13th. Let's please take a moment to acknowledge and reflect on the impact of his work, not only here in Arizona, but across the country. Thank you. Over the last 21 years as the founder of Latino Leaders Network, Mickey Ibarra has been bringing leaders together to establish relationships and build unity, and today is no exception, especially given the fact that today is his birthday. Happy birthday, Mickey. We have a great program for you, and to get us started, it is my pleasure to introduce our chairman, the Honorable Mickey Ibarra, who will serve as our program host.
Thank you, Ruben, for helping us get started on time. As your host today, it is my responsibility to ensure we end on time, respecting everyone's time, and with the support of our speakers and guests, we will conclude by 2 p.m. As Ruben mentioned, over a year ago in Washington, D.C., I announced the appointment of Ruben Alvarez of Phoenix as our first CEO to assume operational responsibilities for the Latino Leaders Network. He and his team at Malera Alvarez have done an outstanding job providing additional leadership and staff capacity to ensure our continued success as we begin our 21st season of bringing leaders together. Since 2004, the Latino Leaders Network has convened a total of 122 events, honoring 146 leaders in 34 cities. We are delighted to return to Phoenix this year. In fact, we've already been here once, where we convened a reception for Arizona Latino state legislative leaders on January 30th, and today we convene the 74th event of the Luncheon series for the first time in Phoenix since 2014. Let me see a raise of hands. Who was with us in 2014? It was at this hotel. Well, we got some. Well, thank you for showing up again. We're pleased to be joined in welcoming our honorees today. The Honorable Tony Cardenas of Los Angeles. Tony, would you please stand? Who will receive the Eagle Leadership Award. And also the Arizona Secretary of State, Adrian Fontes, for the Chairman's Award. Adrian? And if you haven't heard the news, Adrian's made the wise choice to stay Secretary of State to fight for all of us. Thank you. They're joined at the head table, both Tony and Adrian, by Mayor Kate Gallego of Phoenix. Mayor, thank you. We start every luncheon with prayer. Governor Stephen Rowe Lewis of the Gila River Indian Community will offer a land acknowledgement and blessing. Governor?
Thank you, Honorable Mickey Ibarra. Anya Anapchugat, Governor Stephen Rowe Lewis, Amjad, Guaki, Sacaton, Arizona, Gila River Indian Community, Skugtosh. All I see are friends and relatives here today. On behalf of the ancestral lands, what we call the Otham Juvit of the Gila River, Akinma Otham, Peeposh peoples, descendants, proud descendants of the Hoogam civilization that Phoenix is literally built upon today, modern day Phoenix. Canal systems that were built over 1,000 years old. The Hoogam civilization literally were the original water protectors, masterful engineers of bringing water thousands of years ago to this area that modern day Phoenix is built upon. And as someone, a leader, so honored to represent our community, both with our sister tribes, the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian community, the Ak-Chin Indian community, and the Thana Otham Nation, we welcome you humbly. We've always put as part of what we call our Otham, our Himaduk, our way of life, our value systems from our history and our tradition. We've always put such a high top emphasis on hospitality. And we offer you, the people, offer you blessings and prayers while you're here. Thank you for coming back. It's been 10 years, as was said. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for coming home, all of you. And I just want to say, you know, I'm such a fanboy here of who we are honoring today as well. Of course, my favorite mayor, Mayor Kate Gallego, who is being honored, and she puts such a great emphasis on positive relationships, building relationships in community, not only with Phoenix. Phoenix is probably one of the largest urban Indian populations in the United States. And she has done so much to promote those connections as well. Of course, one of my favorite secretaries of state of all time, a fighter, someone who I consider a close friend, the Honorable Adrian Fontes as well, who fights for all of our civil rights, who fights for our voting rights, and we talked about our indigenous native voting rights as well. He is a veteran, and when we look and just see the storied history of Native American veterans, of Hispanic, Latino veterans, that it served in the highest numbers of any group in the United States. That history is proud, and that history should not be erased as well. And then, of course, as we know, the eagle in our culture and our tradition, what we call in Anthem, we call it the bag. The eagle flies the highest, soars the highest, and sees the vision of the land around. And that really epitomizes a good friend of mine as well, the Honorable Tony Cardenas as well, him and his wife. He has been an amazing leader, both of his constituents, but also nationwide, and a fighter and an advocate for Native tribes as well, both in California and what I've seen nationwide as well, fighting for tribal sovereignty. Brother, I love you, and I'm so honored to be here in your honoring and the honoring of all of your honorees today. So with that, on behalf of the Gila River Indian community, we send blessings and prayers and put a covering of peace and prosperity and security over all of you while you're here on Atham Juvid, and wherever you travel home. We are sending prayers of safe travel back to your homelands, my brothers and sisters. Thank you, Mosapo.
Thank you, Governor. The mission of the Latino Leaders Network is bringing leaders together. And with over 300 guests registered to attend, we appreciate your support. As I look at this room, we have a full house. Thank you. And while every guest here is worthy of acknowledgement, there are several that I want to mention, including the board of directors of the Latino Leaders Network, three of whom have joined Ruben and I here today. I'd like them to stand, please. First, Rudy Becerra of Atlanta. Rudy. Thank you. I see Lydia Martinez of San Diego. And we also have Ken Trujillo of Philadelphia. Ken? Delighted to see several of our past honorees here. Their names are listed on the monitors. Please join me in thanking them for their continued leadership. Thank you. We are also pleased to be joined by a host of elected and appointed officials. Today, see their names displayed on the big screens. Again, please join me in thanking them for their presence. We've had over 30 elected officials. And now for greetings. Mayor Kate Gallego, a recipient of the Antonio Villaraigosa Leadership Award in 2023 at our Tribute to Mayors in Columbus, Ohio during the U.S. Conference of Mayors summer meeting. Only the second woman elected mayor of Phoenix, the fifth largest city in America. Mayor, I'm still surprised that so many are surprised that Phoenix is the fifth largest city in our country. Mayor Gallego remains focused on creating a welcoming city of the future, thriving with ample high-wage jobs and opportunities for all. Mayor Gallego will now deliver greetings on behalf of the city of Phoenix. Mayor.
Welcome to Phoenix. Mickey, happy birthday. We are so honored you are celebrating with us. We are so pleased to have you in downtown Phoenix at the wonderful Sheraton. The team here does an exceptional job making sure they take great care of us. Can we get a round of applause for the folks who are feeding and serving us? I am pleased to be joined by an all-star cast from the city of Phoenix: Vice Mayor O'Brien, Councilwoman Pastor, Councilwoman Guardado, Councilman Robinson, Councilman Galindo Elvira, Councilwoman Hodge Washington, our deputy city managers Gina Montes, Mario Paniagua, Fire Chief Mike Duran. Phoenix is so excited to support Latino leaders, and we are glad to be with you. We are honored to. One of the tough parts about being mayor of Phoenix is you often have to speak after Governor Roe Lewis. Such an exceptional leader. He's been named Arizonan of the Year. He's been named one of the top leaders in the world for sustainability, an incredible voice for the people of Arizona and for Native communities, and a great partner for us at the city of Phoenix. So, Governor, thanks for being here with us. We are so pleased to celebrate Latino culture, which is Phoenix culture. And it's an important time, an important weekend to do it. On Monday, the city of Phoenix will mark Cesar Chavez Day. We are pleased to be one of the first cities in Arizona to have a paid holiday to recognize Cesar Chavez and the movement that he led. And it comes at a very special time. This weekend, I joined Councilman Galindo Elvira, Councilwoman Hodge Washington, and Councilwoman Pastor to celebrate and unveil a new street plaque in Phoenix, the Avenida Mujeres del Movimiento plaque, which honors the many women who fought alongside Cesar Chavez for social and political equity. And some of those women are here with us today. The plaque is right by Santa Rita Hall, where Cesar fasted and where the phrase "Si se puede" was born. So we are continued to tell the incredible story of Latino leaders in this community. We are trying to celebrate that throughout. Thanks to all of you, the City of Phoenix is in the process of creating a Latino Cultural Center, and we look forward to your input in really celebrating the amazing artists of our community. You all voted in our 2023 bond election to bring that forward, and we're hoping to do a world-class building in the city of Phoenix. We are also celebrating our incredible chefs in this community. So many of our James Beard award-winning chefs, from Chef Renee Andrade to Silvana at Barrio Cafe, have really represented us well on the international level, and we're thrilled to celebrate that. We also just unanimously yesterday extended the City of Phoenix's small business program, which has helped more than 3,000 businesses help build the City of Phoenix, with a particular focus on the construction side. And many of those individuals who are part of this room are in this room as well. They are just a small part of the $68.5 billion in purchasing power of Arizona Latinos. The Hispanic Chamber of Commerce has done a great job giving us a snapshot of that economic impact, with more than 141,000 Latino-owned small businesses that power the city of Phoenix and more. We know small business is big business in the city of Phoenix. We also, in the last month, have just had an exceptional month for economic development. The largest economic announcement in the city of Phoenix, or in the country, was TSMC. They're the folks who make the chips in Apple and NVIDIA projects and more. And they tripled down on the city of Phoenix with a $100 billion announcement. So big news. So many of their business partners are Latino-owned companies. I was just with Verde Clean, which is a great company that works with them 2 days ago to celebrate their expansion, and it's incredible to see that growth in our community. So hopefully a little bit of good news. I was told people needed good news today, and we definitely have a lot of that. We recognize two exceptional gentlemen today. My good friend, Secretary Fontes, our protector of democracy, who is doing so much on the forefront at great personal risk to him and his family to stand up and make sure we preserve free and fair elections. Thank you, Secretary Fontes. And then most people probably think of him as the congressman, but we remember his days serving at the local level with the city of Los Angeles, where he did programs that were then replicated throughout the country on everything from public safety to the environment. So thank you for your service, Councilman Congressman Cardenas. I also want to thank all the great sponsors here today. It's so wonderful to see your investment in recognizing exceptional leaders, and we're pleased to have you here in Phoenix. Enjoy an exceptional lunch. Thank you.
And now, a word from our sponsors. We actually have 12 sponsors, so proud and grateful for each and every one of them. And we have one premier sponsor. We are delighted to be joined by CVS Health as today's premier sponsor. Shannon Butler, the Executive Director of Government Affairs, is our champion, and we are grateful for her major support. Please welcome Shannon for sponsor remarks. Shannon?
Thank you. Hi, thank you. So I had asked Ruben to put me at the end when you were looking for your valet tickets, remembering if you checked in for your flight, and he put me right in the middle, so I will be sure to thank him for that later. Let's hear it for our mayor. I voted for her twice. She's fantastic, and she's brought Phoenix so far, and I'm honored to follow her, so you just need to lower your bar a little. So this has been an incredible day. Latino Leaders Network is one of my favorite events to attend. I fly all over the country to do it, and I attend a lot of events because I'm very fortunate to work for CVS. So I'm Shannon Butler. I'm the head of government affairs for the West region, and I lead probably half the country with an incredible team of people. And on behalf of our 14,000 employees here in Arizona and our 300,000 employees company-wide throughout the world, we are just very proud supporters of Latino Leaders Network. A few years ago, we had a luncheon in Sacramento, and unfortunately there was an incident that morning that shut down the Capitol and parts of downtown Sacramento. And Carla, who I work with, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, who covers California for us, we started texting Ruben pretty early in the morning. We're like, oh my gosh, will the event go on? Will anybody show up? And let's just say Ruben assured us, in his very Ruben way, that it would be fine. So Carla and I roll into the event fashionably late, and in true Latino leader style, it is packed. The reception is packed. And so then we go into the luncheon where then Speaker Anthony Rendon, for the California Assembly at the time, one of the longest serving speakers, for over 10 years, gave one of my favorite Latino Leader Network speeches of all time. And truly, do yourself a favor and Google it. Anthony talked about our imperfect stories that get us here, our impact on our families and our communities. He talked about a sunrise he watched walking the floor with a new baby, with his mother, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, and his wife, all in a very small house. And he had a bourbon in one hand at 2 a.m. and a bottle of breast milk in the other hand. And we have all been there. I walked the floor with my son over the weekend for strep throat. Thank you, dirty third graders. So anyhow, the sunrise for Anthony was about the new beginnings of the day and the work to still be done. He talked about living our lives in a meaningful way and with great intention, aware of the places that we came from and the people that we're in the room with, which is all of you. And we can't forget the need to do good. And I know that's hard. I'm exhausted. I know all of you are because you're the true leaders. So the luncheon was packed like this one. We are the people that Anthony was talking about. This is a room full of true leaders, and you are the people making differences in your community and in your states. You will always be impacted by the Latino Leaders Network. The people you will meet, the old friends you will see, and the new connections you'll make that will inspire you. That is why CVS is proud to be a continuing sponsor of the Latino Leaders Network. Thank you, Ruben. and Mickey for bringing us together today, and for the vision Mickey had over 20 years ago to build the Latino Leaders Network, and to Ruben for working to continue that legacy in such a thoughtful and amazing manner. And while Mickey has a birthday today, I want to take a point of personal privilege and wish my good friend Jaime Malera a very happy early birthday. Happy birthday, Jaime. Thank you so much. I'm honored.
Thanks, Mickey.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you, Shannon. Again, thanks to CVS Health. Only one sponsor gets to speak. Only one. And she just did. Thank you, Shannon. We're also joined by the official airline of the Latino Leaders Network, Southwest Airlines. Thank you. All of us enjoyed our network reception just outside the ballroom doors. I want to thank Waste Management, Alex Osiguerra, for our network reception sponsorship. Thank you. We have 8 VIP table sponsors with us. I'd like to just pause for a moment to have you take a look at these 8 hero companies on the big screens. Thank them for their help. Finally, every guest has been provided a complimentary signed copy of Latino Leaders Speak, Personal Stories of Struggle and Triumph. These books have been placed into your gift bags at your seat. Please take a look at the QR code inside the insert of the book where you'll be directed to a curriculum guide. This book is a compilation of over 30 keynote addresses delivered at the Latino Leaders Luncheon series and provides terrific curriculum support for our students and others to learn and to celebrate our leaders. The truth is, the Latino community has many heroes, many role models, and many outstanding leaders. I'm also pleased to share that Arte Publico Press, the publisher of our book, has agreed to publish Volume 2, which will be released early next year with additional leadership stories that were shared here at the Latino Leaders Network. We now have a very short video that we'd like, 2 minutes long, with more information about LLN and our book. About every 90 days, all the leaders in this room and across the country, we need to come together. Our personal stories unite us. They remind us of our responsibility to be good to each other.
Tomorrow is the 91st anniversary of my grandfather coming back to the United States. And I actually have a copy of his immigration papers. Now, he and my grandmother could never have realized that the American dream that they were looking for would one day involve their grandchild becoming a presidential appointee. That's how beautiful this country is, and that's the country he came to.
Who's got the power? Sí, se puede.
We grew up with a mother who instilled in us this sense that we could achieve, that we should dream big, and that people of all different backgrounds had something to contribute to the forward progress of our nation.
Our second signature event, the Tribute to Mayors, presents the Antonio Villaraigosa Leadership Award to honor a mayor who is doing right by our community.
We are all but public servants that carry in our souls and in our jobs more of a calling for public service than anything else. We are the front line of what citizens need.
There's a dicho that says, no te quejes porque el viento va en contra tuya. Mejor aprende a volar. Don't complain about the headwinds that are before you. It is better to learn how to fly.
Telling our stories is an important community and public service. And now these stories are compiled in one book, Latino Leaders Speak. Now is the time to make sure we get this book into everyone's hands who can share it with a young person. Make sure that it is accessible in every network that we have so that generations will have this for years to come.
You know, others may try to tear us down. What we need to be dedicated to is building each other up. Don't you agree? Please join me in thanking APS, Wendy Valenzuela is here, for making this book possible, courtesy of APS. Thank you, Wendy. And it's great to see Daniel Valenzuela sitting right next to her. Thank you. Our community partner. At every luncheon event, we honor a community partner, an organization that is hard at work making life better for our community. We are joined today by Valley of the Sun United Way, a premier nonprofit organization led by Carla Vargas Llesa. In 2019, Carla became the first woman and Latina to lead the organization, serving more than 4.5 million residents of Maricopa County, and is among the largest United Ways in the United States. Please welcome Carla to the podium for community partner remarks.
Well, thank you, Mickey, and felicidades, Congressman Cardenas and Secretary Fuentes, on your much-deserved recognition here today. And I will share that both as a former Californian and a current Arizonan, your leadership has been remarkable and much needed, and it is such an honor to be the community partner here today while your leadership is being honored by the Latino Leaders Network. And just looking around the room, there are so many incredible leaders who have been personally supportive to me and to Valley of the Sun United Way, and really who have lifted each other up. And I want to personally thank Ruben for being truly one of the first, and if not the first people, who immediately welcomed me to the Valley and introducing me to so many other tremendous leaders that are here today. And in addition to his day job and being the president of this organization, he also serves as secretary of our board of directors and chair of our public policy committee. And so a huge thank you to you, Ruben, for that. And I learned last night at dinner that the reason that I was introduced to Ruben is because of the Latino Leaders Network. So as I was coming to town to become CEO of Valley of the Sun United Way, former Peace Corps director and ambassador Gadi Vasquez knew that I was making this move, and he said that he knew someone really important in the Phoenix area that I should meet, and that person was Ruben Alvarez, because of Latino Leaders Network. And so if there is one of many stories to prove the importance of relationships, leaderships, sharing stories, and building connections, that is just one of them, and I thank everyone in the room here for that. And wanted to, share certainly, as Latinos and as leaders, we lift one another up, right? We look out for one another and we celebrate our shared success. And it's my experience, and I think you'll hear some of this today, is that we work hard for our families. We speak up for what's right, in solidarity with others often, and oftentimes we face extreme repercussions because of this, as was just referenced as it relates to Secretary Fuentes. And in terms of stories, as we just heard in the video, my personal story, my parents came here to the US from Paraguay in the early 70s, and that's because of my father's activism speaking out against the dictatorship in that country at that time, Alfredo Stroessner. And he was the leader of the student movement at that time, and he was jailed and tortured for his activism, and it's because of that that I was born here in the US, because of his fight for democracy and for human rights. And it's because of his activism and what my parents taught me that led me to wanting to devote my life to human rights issues, originally abroad in Latin America, but as I was growing up here in the US and going to college at UC Berkeley, looking around and seeing there are human rights issues on every corner of our communities, whether it's access to education, not based on the zip code that you're born in, whether it's access to a safe roof over your head, whether it is being able to go and get a doctor's appointment and not have to put your family's stability and livelihood at risk because of that. And it's because of that that I have made a career with United Way, and which brought me here to Valley of the Sun United Way. And why is that? That's because Valley of the Sun United Way and United Ways throughout the country have served your community here locally, the community from which you have joined us here in Phoenix, to address the greatest needs that may be facing that local community. And we bring together the best and the brightest minds, many of which are here today from various sectors: the corporate sector, the nonprofit sector, the public sector, leaders like all of you. University institutions, ASU and Valley of the Sun United Way have the strongest connection of any university and United Way in the country to really solve the most pressing issues of a community. And here in Maricopa County, we're focusing on reducing homelessness, helping to ensure people have access to better paying jobs, connecting people to health care, and ensuring that children have access to education so that they're reading at grade level and they are connected to education and employment. And because of the fact that our community is 50% of the students in school are Latino, the fact that 1/3 of Maricopa County's residents are Latino, and we have the 5th largest Latino population of any county in the country, it is natural that Valley of the Sun United Way's focus and primary work is in partnership with the Latino community. And I want to share just a little bit about the fact that we are in both challenging times and in hopeful times at this moment in time. And many nonprofit organizations who are actually here in the room have been at the front lines of supporting our communities for many years. And United Way serves as the backbone to knit that fabric of nonprofits and other partners together to really address community needs. And I will share that at this moment in time is a challenging moment in time, given the uncertainties that we've seen at a federal level related to federal actions and orders. And I'll share that they've created uncertainty and fear with many nonprofit leaders locally, and I'm using this podium to share a little bit of that. They are fearful for their constituents. They're fearful for our community and for their children. They're fearful for their ability to deliver on the services that they were formed to provide to children and families in our communities, and they're fearful for the programs that they support. And I say this not because of conjecture or because I am assuming it. I say this because of data and because of input that we've engaged as your United Way here in Maricopa County. As of February 2nd, we actually issued a flash survey of our nonprofit partners here in this community to understand the impacts on them of federal actions and orders, as well as convened a series of nonprofit input sessions with local leaders. And I'll just share a few examples of that. The first is the implications to local nonprofits is more so with the larger nonprofit organizations who are more established in a community. Implications potentially of federal funding range from 48% of a nonprofit's budget to just a small portion. And there's obvious implications as it relates to being able to deliver the important services that they provide. And so my call to action to all of you is that whether you're from this community in the Valley or you have joined us from another community, learn about the impacts right now on nonprofit organizations, learn about how you can support them, engage with your local United Way, and share a voice in support of their work at this time. Their leadership needs your leadership more than ever, and we look forward to celebrating all of your leadership in support of our various communities together. So I thank you for having us as your community partner, and I hope that you all consider partnering with United Way in your communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. The Chairman's Award. Periodically, we present the Chairman's Award to an outstanding local leader. The award has been presented only 14 previous times. And remember, this is the 74th luncheon. And that award will be presented shortly to Adrian Fontes, your Secretary of State. And there's no need to remind anyone in this room the importance of that position. Councilmember Laura Pastor, elected to the Phoenix City Council in 2013, now serving her third term, retains an unwavering commitment to public service. She has agreed to deliver the honorary tribute today. Please welcome Councilmember Pastor to the podium.
Thank you. So I have a really big announcement today. April 21st, Councilman Carlos Galindo Arvida is looking for a job. We have a lot of corporations in here, so I will give you his resume since he's been giving me his resume. Thought we needed a little joke. So, Mickey and Jaime, happy birthday, and anybody else in the room, happy birthday. Mickey, I just want to thank you for your leadership with the Latino Leaders Network. Thank you for your vision, and thank you for doing it, because it's been a long time, and during those days and times, we had to come together, and we had to work and build the network that we have today. So a round of applause to Mickey. Wise choice in selecting Ruben Alvarez as a CEO. He's my compadre, and we went to college together, so I have lots of stories of him. Thank you to the sponsors. This wouldn't have happened and wouldn't have been able to do this for this long without sponsors, so thank you. And most importantly, I want to recognize the staff that is serving us and those that also pick our fruit and vegetables and our food. And as I say this, I want to recognize Andres Chavez, who is the grandson of Cesar Chavez, here with us today. Thank you. Congratulations, Congressman. I enjoyed our time driving yesterday and enjoyed the conversation, but congratulations. And lots of patience to your wife. So, I am pleased to introduce and share a little background on today's recipient of the Chairman's Award. Secretary of State Adrian Fontes, Arizona's 21st Secretary, embodies dedication, discipline, and deep commitment to public service. Raised in Southern Arizona and shaped by his service as a U.S. Marine. Yes, please, he served our country. He has spent a lifetime fighting for justice and defending democracy. As a father of 3 daughters, he began his career as a prosecutor before modernizing election systems as a Maricopa County recorder. Under his leadership, ballot trafficking technologies evolved, yielding transparent results amid record voter turnouts during the pandemic. And the pandemic was tough for all of us, and he got the job done. Thank you. Upon his election as Secretary of State, he swiftly revised the Elections Procedures Manual to ensure safe, fair, and secure elections for all 15 counties. He consolidated 11 core business services into the Arizona's Business One-Stop platform, improving efficiency for Arizona's business community. Secretary Fontes oversees the Arizona State Library, Archives, and Public Records, ensuring that Arizonans have access to vital governmental information while preserving the state's rich history. His initiatives have unlocked millions of dollars in funding for critical internet infrastructure, supporting education and businesses in rural and tribal communities. As a U.S. Election Assistance Commission Standards Board member, he champions national election security and voter accessibility. I have known Adrian for over 30 years and have witnessed firsthand his impact in promoting and strengthening our democratic electoral process and encouraging people to vote and get engaged in this process. But most importantly, I have seen Adrian's love for his family, strength and hope in crisis, humor and compassion, and his deep commitment to Arizona. For these reasons, Adrian is today's recipient of the Chairman's Award. Please welcome Adrian to the stage.
Okay. With the Chairman's Award. Would it be here? Here you go. The Chairman's Award, right here.
Si se puede, let's hear those applause.
Thank you. Please be seated. Mickey said you've got 90 seconds. Make it quick. Happy birthday, Mickey. Jaime Molera took my sister to the Heart Fund Ball when they were juniors in high school. I think Maria Elena Coronado, who's in here, and Councilman Galindo Elvira, and Councilwoman Pastor, and Ruben, and I can't remember how many others might be in this room. I think we were all at ASU as undergrads at the same time. There must have been something in the water because look at us now. The story of this, and I'm very grateful, Mickey, and I'm humbled by this, so I do certainly appreciate it. But the story of this award isn't just a story about myself and my struggles. It's a story about standing on the shoulders of giants, but not giants that we've heard of. And we've heard of a lot. We know the stories of the Cesar Chavez's and the Martin Luther King Jr.'s and those folks who fought for civil rights and justice in the limelight. But the stories we don't hear very often are the nanas and the bisabuelas and those folks who took care of the home front, who made sure that kids felt comfortable so that they could concentrate on learning and education, which is one of the main reasons I would assume the vast majority of us are in here. It certainly is the reason that I'm here. Those folks whose stories are not told, those are the team members behind the scenes who have to be appreciated as much as those of us who are standing out front, holding the banner, making the speeches, being inspirational and winning awards. And for all of those folks whose names are not written in a history book, for all of those folks whose hugs meant more than just about anything else, for all of those folks who helped those kids learn how to read so that they could go on to sit in these wonderful ballrooms and enjoy these wonderful lunches. I would say all of us share that in common, and we should give them a round of applause as well. Mine include my Nanavica, Eduiges Diaz Fontes, a Yaqui who would not be married to my great-grandfather until he learned how to speak the language, because her father wouldn't let it happen unless he learned how to speak the language. They include Artemisa Fontes de Trujillo, my grandmother, who when I was 6 years old suffered a stroke and lost all of the capacity to move the left side of her body. This was before the Americans with Disabilities Act in Nogales, Arizona. You can imagine the challenges that she faced getting around while continuing to raise what was left of her 6 kids at home and so many grandkids. I think they ended up with like 17 or 18. We lose count after 15. It doesn't matter. The challenges that I have faced in my life pale in comparison to the challenges that so many other people have faced, and so I won't discuss a lot of those personal challenges that I faced getting here, but I will speak in a way publicly that I've never spoken before about the challenges that we face today. And the mayor alluded to it, and Laura did too, but I think it's worth sharing, and here's why. We're not just in unprecedented times. I've said it before, and I will say it again. We're pretty doggone near, if we allow it, the end time for this republic. It was Laura's office that received a notification one evening that in a swatting attempt at my home, that I was holding my fiance at gunpoint with my children locked in a closet. The SWAT team had to arrive, but thankfully we already had protocols in place that would alleviate any need for them to show up in full armor with guns a-blazing. Thankfully. But these kinds of invasions of not just elections officials like me, not just county supervisors like those you've heard of, not just state election directors, but of school board members, of librarians, of some of those civil servants around. These are the challenges that we are facing today as a society. And I hate to be a downer because this is supposed to be a celebration. Mickey, I apologize. We cannot turn away from what is happening right now, just like it would be wrong to ignore the suffering and the pain that some individuals felt at Santa Rita Hall during those hunger strikes. Just like we cannot ignore the pain that some felt when they were being beaten at the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Our society is at the precipice today. Just 2 days ago, an executive order issued that I think is the second strike against our elections and may be setting us up in order to cancel elections in 2026 nationally. I have raised this alarm before. I know this area better than just about anybody else. And believe you me, there's no way in the world that I would be saying this publicly unless I felt it was absolutely true and perfectly justified. We are in a struggle together, not just me to get here as a leader, going through all the stuff we go through, you know, as young people and the hardships that we suffered, going through Marine Corps boot camp, no cakewalk that. And all of the rest that I've gone through pale in comparison to what we have to find the courage to muster to meet the moment today. And so let us do this as Latino leaders. Let us do this as leaders in the corporate sector. Let us do this as folks who care as Americans about the idea of democracy, which is the golden thread that holds the entire fabric of our society together. That golden thread, by the way, in that fabric unites medicine and law and education and business and science and technology. That golden thread is the predictable thing that helps us move forward. If you pull that thread of democracy out, the entire society disintegrates. Let us then, as leaders, now muster the courage and become uncomfortable. Let us move away from our own privilege. Let us decide and determine that what happened in Selma, what happened in South Phoenix, what has happened in those places where we see these sufferings in our history are not that bad, and that we're willing to move a little bit out of our comfort zone to fight the fight for freedom at the most fundamental level, and that is the preservation of the very systems that ensure that we can own businesses, that we can have libraries and the exchange of information, that hospitals will be able to depend on research from universities, that our legal systems will protect not just our civil rights, but our property rights, leases, purchase agreements, and so forth. This is the time for Latino leaders to stand up. Find that space for yourself as a leader and become uncomfortable. Become challenged in your space. And let us use that discomfort to work towards a space where we never have to worry about the disintegration of our society and the downfall of our democracy. I'm sorry to get preachy, Mickey, but this moment calls for it, and this platform and these folks deserve it. Thank you for the award. I genuinely appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll get it to you. Thank you, Adrian. Adrian said what needed to be said. And as I stated earlier, we're grateful to Adrian for his decision to remain as your Secretary of State here in Arizona. And now for the Eagle Leadership Award. To start, please give us your attention for 3-minute video tribute.
I was born and raised in Pacoima. My mother and father came from Mexico in 1946. 2 years later, they had their first child, and they had 11 of us. Thank God they had 11, because I'm number 11.
Tony's father started his own landscaping company and would take Tony and his brothers to do landscaping work. And whenever Tony or one of his brothers would complain, he would challenge them. He says, do you want to do this for the rest of your life? Or do you want to go to school, get good grades, find a career path, make something of yourself?
I did graduate from San Fernando High School, got accepted to UC Santa Barbara. I worked in engineering for a little bit, but I came back to Pacoima and started my own real estate business and married my wife Norma. And so I thought, I'm gonna be a businessman for the rest of my life. Right around 1994, 95, a friend of mine, Chicano activist, James Acevedo, he basically told me, you don't care about your community. So I laid into him and I told him all the reasons why I do care about my community. I opened a business 2 blocks away from my high school. And then when I was done, he goes, that's why you need to run. The first person I called was a young man from Pacoima. He went to MIT as an engineer. We had that in common. His parents are from Mexico like mine. And so he's now our United States Senator. Alex Padilla grew up 2 blocks away from me. And I said, if I run for office, will you run my campaign? And he stood up and he shook my hand and he said, yes, I'll do it.
But before that, I said, are you sure? Because I don't know the first thing about managing a political campaign.
And we beat the pants off them, becoming the first Latino to represent the Northeast San Fernando Valley in the state legislature. Another thing that I'm very proud about, and it's very emotional to me, is the Latino Museum. As Latinos, we are not invisible. We are a big positive force in this country.
We need to make sure that Latino history in America is available for everyone to see. So they can pop into all of the beautiful Smithsonian institutions, and there they'll see the Latino Museum on the mall, and part of that is Tony's work.
We actually found a spot on the mall where we're not only gonna have a building, but we're gonna have a space outside. So we're gonna have what Latinos love to do: music, dance, festivals, food. It's gonna be reflective of our Latino communities.
Without a doubt, the biggest influences on Tony's life has been his parents.
When mentor comes to mind, I think of Andres, my father, Maria, my mother. And the things that they taught every single one of their 11 children were, if you give your word, you keep it. Si vas a dar tu palabra, tienes que cumplir. This is no joke. This is not a game. You say you're going to do something, you do it. To me, legacy is something that's shared. My legacy as an elected official will be about, did I do right by the people who inspired me, who believed in me? I'm very proud of the fact that I've been able to get a lot done with my colleagues who are like-minded and are willing to put their energy and effort into it. And I've been a part of making a difference at the local level, at the state level, and now in the United States Congress.
As you learned from the video, and I think it's worth repeating, the Honorable Tony Cardenas is one of 11 children of Andres Cardenas and Maria Quezada, who immigrated to the United States from Jalisco, Mexico. Tony attended the University of California, Santa Barbara, where he earned a degree in electrical engineering in 1986. Not bad for a young man from Pacoima, but Tony was only getting started. The Honorable Tony Cardenas, former member of the California State Assembly, the Los Angeles City Council, and the United States Congress for 12 years, the first Latino elected to represent the San Fernando Valley at both the state legislature and the House of Representatives in Washington. And I want to share another membership Tony Cardenas enjoyed that many here are not aware of. He is a founding member of a mentoring group of 9 elected officials who came together in Indianapolis during a meeting of the National League of Cities. We called ourselves, from that day forward, the Indy Group. Tony became a member of Congress. Another member of our Indy Group became a United States Senator, and you just saw him on the big screens, Alex Padilla. Having spent 40 years of my life in our nation's capital, I have witnessed firsthand the commitment of Tony to the Latino community, the city of Los Angeles, and the state of California, and our nation. In short, there is no one more worthy than Tony Cardenas to be given our Eagle Leadership Award. It's with enormous pride to introduce Tony, who will deliver keynote remarks followed by the award presentation. Please join me in welcoming the Honorable Tony Cardenas.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you so much, Mickey, my brother, my friend. You saw some pictures of me when I was little. But some things haven't changed since then. What you saw in those pictures when I was a little boy was a very, very insecure little boy. And insecurities are things that sometimes can get the best of us and bring out the worst in us. But luckily for me, I've been surrounded by beautiful, amazing people that I've been able to learn from, one person at a time, one day at a time, so that I could actually be a leader, not only a leader, but actually be chosen to be a leader among leaders. And with that, I'd like to thank Mickey for this opportunity to speak to all of you and to thank you and everybody like us for everything that we've done for, not only for this great country, but for the world. We should be very, very proud to say, I am a Latino. And for those of us in the room who aren't Latino or Latina, you should be very, very thankful to understand that we're thankful for you for being part of our journey and understanding us and respecting us and appreciating us as we should all appreciate each other as human beings. Ruben Alvarez, congratulations. You've been given the mantle and tremendous responsibility. Along like many of the duties that you volunteer for, I'm sure the pay is amazing. But I'm sure your team is going to shoulder it with you and make sure that you keep delivering for your community and your business and your family and to this great organization, the Latino Leaders Network. So congratulations and thank you for all of your service. To Mayor Gallego, she had to leave. I know what it's like to be a local elected. Trust me, I was a city council member. And also to the council members in the room. I used to have a saying, and I meant it from the bottom of my heart. I said, I'm only a congressman. I used to be somebody. I was a councilman once. For those of you who, see? Council members in the room are like, yeah, that's where the rubber meets the road. So to Mayor Gallego, I appreciate her kind words, not only to us and for us, those of us who are receiving recognition today, but for all of us who are in the room to make this event so special. And also, I'd like to thank Governor Lewis. He's not from my state, and his people, his nation, is not near Los Angeles, where I was born and raised, and I've represented for 28 years. But I've seen him many times in Washington, D.C., and he said to me, I love you, and he called me his brother. And I say the same to him. Why? Because we understand each other, we respect each other, and we know that the fight for our people continues. Unfortunately, it continues every single day. And of all the people in this great nation, on this great land, who have suffered the worst and the most and still suffer to this day, it's our Native American brothers and sisters. Laura, it was fun riding in the car with you yesterday for a couple of hours, learning about the local politics and the batallas that continue to go on. And believe it or not, even amongst that serious conversation, we laughed a lot. We laughed a lot. So it was really good to see you once again and to see you. And I served with your father, a great, great man. And much love to you and your family and to your continued service. Thank you. Secretary Fontes, thank you so much for bringing it every single day, and thank you for bringing it to this podium to tell us the truth, to tell us how ugly the times are today. And the saddest part about all of that, none of that needs to be true. But you brought the truth to all of our ears and hopefully to our hearts to understand that we need to, each and every single one of us, to do what we can, to do more, to stand up for our country, to stand up for our liberties, to stand up for our rights, to make sure that every single person who has the right to vote in this country as a citizen is not turned away or looked at the polls by somebody with a badge who intimidates them to think that, oh my God, I'm not going to vote today because that person might arrest me. Even though that humble, innocent American citizen has nothing to fear but the fear that people are trying to instill in them to make them feel like they are less than an American citizen, that they do not have that right. So you keep up that fight. And I'm going to let you know, I'm going to go to Washington. My roommate is still United States Senator Alex Padilla. And I'm going to let him know that y'all need to talk, because he was a Secretary of State for 8 years in California. And yes, I'm sure you know him, but y'all need to connect, because right now we need you to do what you can for each other and for all of us. So thank you, and congratulations on your recognition. Mickey told me, Tony, I want you to talk about you, your struggle, your life, you know, how you got to where you're at, etc. And I will do that, but I cannot even begin to explain that without thanking my life partner. 32 years she's put up with me as my wife, and 4 years before that as my significant other. So Norma, thank you so much for being with me on this amazing journey. For those of us who have ever served in office, you know that the people who suffer the most are our loved ones. And unfortunately, like the Secretary said today, and sometimes some ignorant people want to put our families in harm's way just because we're doing our job for the people. It's disgusting. It should never happen anywhere on this planet, much less right here in the United States of America. But I tell you, we should be worried, because this United States Attorney General is not going to protect us when people try to hurt people. If you're not wearing a MAGA hat, you are not going to be protected by this United States Attorney General. And for those of you who have an R next to your name or a D or an I or whatever when you go to vote, I am not being political and partisan. I am just telling you the truth. We have a United States Attorney General who believes that she is the protector of the President of the United States and the defender of anything and everything that him and his administration could ever dream of doing. She has bastardized her position in a way that is going to endanger the lives of, yes, some of us in this room. For those of you who have been blessed enough to have children, like my wife Norma and I, or blessed to have grandchildren, or even great-grandchildren, they too can be negatively affected on any given moment, on any given day, and they will not be treated as equals by our United States government, at least for the next 3+ years. I hope and pray that we endure this shameful time. I hope and pray that we come together and do what we can for each other, for our communities, to stand up when we see injustice, knowing that we might be harmed by just doing the right thing. Andres and Maria Cardenas came to the United States in 1946 because they looked around Temastian, Jalisco, Mexico, where they were born and raised. Excuse me, my mother was born here. My father was born and raised there. My mother, since the age of 3, lived there. And they only went to the equivalent of about the 2nd grade because in Temastian, Jalisco, there are no schools. So some unfortunate person, usually a young woman who knows how to read and write, the town leaders would say, "Mija, you know how to read and write?" And she'd say, "Yes, I do." "Or you're going to be the town teacher." I didn't sign up for this. Well, they would be the de facto educator for an entire village. So my mother and father only learned enough to read and write. And then they worked with the family since the age of about 6 until they got married and then looked around and said, nothing has changed. If we want to have children, we need to go elsewhere. And like many, many people who would prefer to stay in their homeland, come to the greatest nation on the planet, the United States of America. And Andres and Maria started in California. My father started as a farm worker, worked on the railroads, a little bit in the mines, all the work that nobody in the world wants to do. Certainly Americans shy away from that work. I know I, as an American citizen, I wouldn't want to do that work. And neither did my parents want the next generation to do that either. So they made a deal. My father said, "I will work and put food on the table. I need you to stay home so that we could raise a family." My mother said, "Of course." She got the toughest end of that deal because they had 11 of us. 11. Can you imagine cleaning up, running after 11 squinkles on any given day? Well, luckily, when you count 11, well, by the time the last one's born, the oldest one's 15, oh, she can help with the kids, and the 12 and the 13-year-old. How many of you grew up in a family where you're at the age of 5 or 6 and you're actually carrying a little brother and sister in a diaper? Yeah, that was the Cardenas family. And guess what? It is a beautiful thing because it teaches you lessons of life, how to care for others, and unfortunately, how to grow up fast. But fortunately, how to not be intimidated by hard work, by not shying away from your duties and responsibilities. Now that you think that's good to know, that's how I was taught by my family, to be a partner within my family. But those are the kinds of skills, those are the kinds of traits, those are the kinds of values that you need to be a public servant, to be a good public servant. And I dare say, I don't think that the current president of the United States shares those kinds of values. When you really think about it. If somebody who knows how to care for a little one who can't care for themselves and learns how to do that at the age of 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 and then grows to be an adult, do you think they shed that and then treat human beings and speak of women and immigrants and Latinos and Hispanics like we are dirt? No, I don't think so. But I would venture to guess that every single person in this room, because I know that you're here at the Latino Leaders Network Luncheon, that you share those values. Not only do you share them, but you carry them with you. And you're not about to violate those values that are part of who you are. So I'm blessed, I'm lucky. If you would ask any of my brothers and sisters when I was a little kid, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, and you had them write on a piece of paper, where do you think Tony's gonna end up? Out of kindness, they probably wouldn't have said he's probably gonna end up in jail, because they knew that my father would not let that happen. He was a disciplinarian like no other. But they probably would say, if you gave him a list, like would he be a congressman, a legislator, a council member, et cetera, they'd go down the list, keep skipping that stuff. Well, maybe he can graduate from high school and maybe stay out of trouble. But I'm blessed because I grew up in a community just like this room. People who give their heart and soul to the little ones around them, who mentor people. Laura, I know you mentor people. I know your heart. I know you don't turn away from that call when you know somebody needs you, right? So I got lucky. I was the kind of kid that I would ball up my fist and hit somebody whenever I got angry. But luckily for me, if my father ever saw me do that to anybody, he would discipline me, and I would never do it again. But see, your parents aren't there when you're in school on the playground. So, you get in a little tussle with somebody, there you go, fighting, which isn't the right thing to do. So luckily for me, I had enough teachers and mentors and older brothers and sisters who said, don't do that. And honestly, it wasn't until I got to college, I was getting my engineering degree at UC Santa Barbara, still that angry, insecure kid, that I started to realize, and I had that aha moment. And I said to myself, wow, I get to be here, going to school where I can walk 2 minutes and be on the beach. And my government and my community is paying for my education. Whoa, am I lucky? And I was old enough to realize that my parents could not afford to even give me $100 or $10 to go to college. And my community provided that for me because my parents were not in a position to do that. And so goes the story for all of my brothers and sisters who went off to college as well. 6 older sisters, smarter than me. They should have been the council member. They should have been they could make it to governor, maybe even president. But no, because they grew up in an era where women were told, Mija, you don't need to go to school. Just marry a nice man and he'll take care of you. I see some of the women in the room nodding their head, yeah. Unfortunately, you were told that lie. I consider it a lie. No human being should say, well, I'm going to be an adult and I'm going to depend on somebody else to take care of me. Oh, Dios mío, what in the world? No, but that's a cultural thing. And it's many cultures, not just the Hispanic, Latino culture. It's many cultures. Women are treated differently than men. Even the American culture, women are paid about 60 cents on the dollar to do the same job as men. And Latinas, Native American women get more money per dollar for doing the same job as a white man in America, and Latinas get paid less. Latinas are the lowest paid in the country, statistically. I say those things to you because that is my story. My story is my sister's story. My story is my brother's story. My story is my brother, Alex Padilla, who is now the United States Senator. My story and his story are identical. Padres de Mexico, parents from Mexico, who came here with very little education and saw their children go to the most prestigious universities in the world and then eventually be able to represent our nation in our United States Capitol. Because of the values that we were brought up with, the values that were instilled in us, and the values that we carry in everything that we do. And when I say we, I mean we. Many of you I've met over the years, and some of you I've just met. But I believe in my heart that we have so much in common, and there is so much good in this room that I think that it's rooms like this, people like us, who are going to bring us out of these dark times, who are going to defend our neighbors and friends and strangers when we see injustice. And yes, sometimes at the risk of our own physical life, but we must stand up. As a congressman, I had the honor of serving with an amazing man. When you stand next to him or you just share a few words with him, may he rest in peace. He is one of the most beautiful human beings I've ever met, John Lewis. John Lewis, a civil rights activist, while a teenager, who walked across the Pettit Bridge and was beaten almost to death, became a congressman. And every time I was on the floor of the House and that seat next to him was empty, I shook my head and said, I don't know about these mensos, but I'm going to go talk to John Lewis. I can't believe somebody's not talking to him right now. And I would sit down with him, and he would give me the most beautiful, amazing consejos, advice I could ever receive. And every once in a while, when the times got really tough, Leader Pelosi would ask him to come up to the front of the room and share a few words. And one of the things that he said on many occasions, he says, brothers and sisters, colleagues, sometimes you have to get into good trouble. And it's time that we get into good trouble. What did he mean by that? Walking across that Pettit Bridge was good trouble. They were not causing trouble. They were bringing attention to injustice in a righteous way. Dolores Huerta and Cesar Chavez, they believed in nonviolence. And they brought attention to injustice in a nonviolent way. What a great country we have when people are allowed to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going backwards right now. You're going to see over the next few days, over the next weeks, over the next few months, you're going to see and more atrocious actions by our federal government upon peaceful American citizens and others, non-citizens, who are just exercising their rights. And they're going to be denied. I don't think there's a person in this room, if 10 years ago somebody would have said to any one of us, those times are coming. 10 years ago, I think any single one of us in this room would have said, we would have scoffed. Ha, you're kidding. No way. Not in America. And here we are. And here we are. When a person could be so dismissive of what is good in America while running for president and get elected, that says just as much about that person as it says about too many people in our country. Our problem isn't one person. Our problem is us as a country. We've never truly reckoned with our past. We've never truly admitted what we've done to Native Americans on this land, committing genocide, nation upon nation upon nation. We've never reckoned with that. We've never reconciled in our hearts with that. What we've done at times in different parts of the world, enforcing our will, our military might for the wrong reasons. Oh, please believe me when I say this. Please believe me when I say this. I love my country. I am so blessed to have born and raised in this country. But it is my right to speak truth about what is good and what is not good about our great country. So yes, I consider myself a patriot, a word that has been bastardized over the last 8 years or so, but I consider myself a true patriot because I lead with love, I lead with respect, and I try to honor those around me and the communities that I've been so blessed to represent. So, Mickey, muchísimas gracias. Thank you so, so much. And Consul de Mexico, right here in Phoenix, thank you so much. I am going to come to Phoenix and get my dual citizenship at your office, okay? But I am not leaving my homeland. I am not leaving my country. I just want to make sure it's a little easier to go back and forth to visit my parents' home country. Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you, and have a wonderful day.
Just another 30 seconds, please. And we're right on time. Thank you, Tony, for your friendship, your leadership, and your truth. And you know, I feel compelled to insert a recommendation. I'm reading a new book. Oh, but let me stop right there. I also want to recognize Mayor John Giles, the former mayor of Mesa. He's with us right here. A past honoree of the Latino Leaders Network. A book I recommend to all of you. Citizen: My Life After the White House, by Bill Clinton. In the first page, it grabbed me. In our line of work, remember, there are no permanent victories nor defeats. We got to be up for the fight, and I think we are. What do you think? It's a book that I am continuing to read because it does give me inspiration, and I recommend it to you as well. Citizen. As you know, good events don't happen accidentally. They happen because of great planning and even better execution. We have a terrific event team that I would like to acknowledge and thank them for all of their support, led by two terrific leaders, Jana Donaire and Estrella Mendoza. Our event team, please give it up for them. Also want to mention to you our 2025 calendar. You have a calendar of events in your guest bag. Phoenix today, we're next in Tampa Bay, and then on to Austin, then to Los Angeles. We're also in Washington, D.C. So around the country, we will continue. For those that are interested, please let us know. Take a look at our website, LatinoLeadersNetwork.org. This ends the 74th event of the Luncheon series, another on-time conclusion. Thank you.